Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Martha Shedden, President and co-founder of the National Association of Registered Social Security Analysts and the RSSA Education and Training Program. At NARSA, we endorse the Maximize My Social Security software and use it to train our analysts on Social Security claiming age scenarios for their clients. As a registered Social Security analyst, I have been using Maximize My Social Security exclusively for many years after trying most of the other Social Security programs available on the market. The software is extremely powerful and precise with user-friendly data entry, producing a comprehensive report, all vital to the success of our analysts. If you're interested in knowing more about the Registered Social Security Analyst Program, please reach out to us at info@narsa.org. That's info@narssa.org, or call us at 1-800-698-1350. We are so pleased to have Lawrence Kotlikoff, developer of the Maximize My Social Security software, here today to present this webinar. Larry is a professor of economics at Boston University, president of Economic Security Planning, and a New York Times best-selling author. His columns, articles, and books cover personal finance, tax reform, Social Security, and much more. His company produces the world's most powerful personal financial planning tools. So with that, I'll turn it over to Larry, who will be providing us his quick take on where Social Security is and where it's going, and then use his software to illustrate the importance of expert guidance. This will take about 45 minutes, and then we'll have another 45 minutes for questions and answers. Larry, thank you so much for offering to present this webinar for us today.
I just want to thank Martha for the opportunity to speak with you all today. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to talk to you about maximizing your clients' lifetime Social Security benefits. But I want to start out by talking about how I see where Social Security is today and where it's potentially going. So let me tell you what I'm going to tell you. The key thing that on Social Security, it would, if it went away, it would dramatically reduce their living standard. Maybe it wouldn't be 50%, but even for rich people, it could be 15, 20%. Financial professionals need expert Social Security training, and certainly the program that Martha has put together, the RSSA certificate, is exactly providing that expert training. They also need expert tools to assist clients with Social Security decisions. The reason is that Social Security is very complicated, as many of you already know. So today I'm going to briefly overview Social Security. I'm going to talk about Social Security's insolvency. I think that's the proper word at this point. That's going to have implications for policy changes. Vice President Biden has a specific plan for Social Security. It's not clear the president has any plan for it, reforming Social Security, at least that he's enunciated. So I thought I would mention briefly Vice President Biden's plan in case he does get elected. And then there's the question of proper valuation of Social Security before you look at any financial planning tool that's trying to consider what's best with respect to Social Security. You have to have the right framework for valuing the Social Security benefits, because they're coming through time, and you have to figure out how to add up money in the future with money today. And so I thought I would mention that just from an economics perspective, how we economists, I'm a professor of economics, as Martha indicated, at Boston University, how we economists think about it, which is quite different from how the general financial community seems to be thinking about valuing Social Security. And then I want to use our software, Maximize My Social Security, to demonstrate the importance of expert advice. So that's the agenda. just an overview here quickly about Social Security. It's providing a variety of different types of social insurance. We've got retirement income insurance, ensuring that people actually don't screw up their saving completely and show up in old age with some money to finance their retirement, which can for many people, will be for many people a longer period of time than the years that they worked. We also have in Social Security longevity insurance. The money comes in the form of an annuity that continues until you die. So you could, if you live to 120, you're going to keep getting those Social Security checks every month. That's insuring you against living a very long life and not having resources. Now, Social Security is also providing widows and widower benefits and child survivor benefits and disabled child survivor benefits. These are all a form of life insurance. So Social Security is providing life insurance. We also know that it provides disability insurance to the disabled. And there's also divorce insurance. If you get divorced after having been married for 10 years, you can potentially collect divorced spousal benefits and divorced widower benefits. So this is also an important element of Social Security social insurance. Now there's 12 different Social Security benefits. I won't go through the whole list. Everybody on this call is going to get a copy of these slides, but ranges from retirement benefits that are well known to parent benefits that are probably not too well known. That's if you're taking care of your parent and you're your parent is basically a dependent of yours in terms of a tax classification. And if you pass away, the parent can collect benefits based on your work record. And then there are things that are, clearly divorcee widows benefits I just mentioned. Child and care spousal benefits are not that well known. If you have a spouse who's not working or not earning too much money, they can collect a benefit if they're taking care of a child. So if you have a spouse taking care of a child in the household who's disabled, there's special benefits for the spouse in addition to the disabled child benefit that the disabled child could receive. So we need to be aware of all these benefits and all the different rules about them. The system is reaching basically 1 in 5 Americans is directly affected by Social Security, even though only about 1 in 10 or so are over 65. We have 47 million retired workers and their dependents, left out the million there. There's 6 million survivor beneficiaries, people getting widows and widower benefits and children getting survivor benefits. And then we also have 10 million disabled workers and their dependents who can potentially collect benefits. So the rules, you might say, well, there's just 12 benefits, so there can't be that many complicated rules about those benefits. But the system has been developed by a variety of Congresses over the years and government Social Security bureaucrats, and they've made the system about as complex as humanly possible. In the Social Security handbook, there are 2,728 basic rules covering these 12 benefits, and then there's hundreds of thousands of rules about these rules. You can go to the program operating manual system at this URL that's posted here. And if you start, as a little game, try and count the number of rules that are listed at the program operating manual, on the program operating manual, and you won't be able to do it because you'll click on one rule and it will have other hyperlinks to other rules. And there's really no way literally to count the number of rules. So, but my rough sense is that there's hundreds of thousands of rules in the program operating manual system. So it's really a bureaucrat's dream come true, and it's a user nightmare. That's why if you compare Social Security in the U.S. with, for example, New Zealand's Social Security system, it's entirely day and night. In New Zealand, if you are over 65, you collect a government pension benefit, which is just one number that everybody gets. It's exactly the same benefit, unless they've changed those rules from a couple of years ago. So that's about as simple as it can be. Our system is as complicated as can be, and that's why it's so important to have a good training program, but also good software. Now, here's a quick view of Social Security's insolvency. The system is 53 trillion underfunded. If you look at this number in the middle of the slide here, that's the present value of the unfunded liability. They also focus on a 75-year unfunded liability of 16.8 trillion. But economically speaking, that's not a well-defined number. It's really the reflection of how the government does its bookkeeping and what it puts on the books and what it keeps off the books. So the right number, according to economics, to look at is 53 trillion. Now, the current payroll tax is 12.4%, and this table that's straight out of the 2020 trustees report that came out in April says that the 12.4 payroll tax rate has to be raised to 17%, so that we don't need a 12.4 percentage point tax rate, but a 17 percentage point payroll tax rate starting today to pay for all the benefits that are projected by the Social Security actuaries through time, through the infinite horizon. And you might think that looking at that far is kind of ridiculous, but there's no other way to sensibly and according to economic science, to properly value the system's sustainability without looking out at the infinite horizon, because of this, what you put on the books and what you keep off the books labeling problem that I kind of referenced earlier. So the system is really in terrible financial shape, and we're going to have major changes. Vice President Biden has put forth a proposal, and one of the key things it does on the solvency side is that it raises taxes on high earners. If you're earning above $400,000, you can see in the last row of this table, you're going to have to pay the 12.4% payroll tax on earnings above the 400,000. And then through time, the regular earnings ceiling is going to be rising, but this with average wages in the country, but the 400,000 is going to be just fixed in nominal terms. So over time, this donut hole will be eliminated. So a bigger and bigger share of the income of the rich is going to be subject to taxation until it becomes 100% through time. And how fast that happens will depend on the economy's real wage growth and also its inflation rate growth. But the other thing that Biden's plan on the benefit side does, I mean, this is a provision about the taxes that it's going to save, bring in a significant amount of money, but it's really only going to be a drop in the bucket relative to the $53 trillion problem. But then the vice president wants to expand benefits for widows and widowers. He wants to provide a higher minimum benefit for the poor, and he wants to increase benefits for those who live beyond 20 years after they start collecting their benefits, and then also do a more generous cost of living adjustment. So those are the key features of his plan. What are the impacts of this plan potentially? Well, the new widower benefit may affect the timing of when people should take their widows and retirement benefits. So that's important. And the higher minimum benefit and the FICA taxation of earnings above 400,000, those are going to reduce work incentives for the poor and the rich. If you pay higher FICA tax, if you pay FICA taxes on earnings above 400,000, it's not going to affect your benefits. It's just a pure tax. And if you're going to collect the minimum benefit anyway, then paying the FICA tax isn't going to help you in terms of higher benefits in the future. So it's also a poor tax, a pure tax on the poor. The increase in benefits after 20 years of receiving them is going to give people an incentive to take their benefit early, because the earlier you take it, the sooner you get this bump up in benefits, and the longer the number of years, the greater the number of years that you'll be receiving this higher benefit. If you live to your, let's say, your maximum age of life, you'll be receiving this benefit for a longer time. So this is going to change the calculus about when people should optimally take the benefit. And our software will very quickly incorporate, as soon as that laws change, the Social Security laws change, we'll have the updated provisions in our code probably within a week or two of its enactment. So one other comment before I go through a few case studies that I wanted to use to illustrate how to maximize clients' lifetime benefits is this issue of proper valuation of Social Security benefits. And by proper, I mean how economists would value Social Security benefits. This is not based on our kind of gut feeling. It's not based on, how we think by waking up in the morning benefits should be valued. It's based on seminal research done by an Israeli economist named Menachem Yari, who may well win the Nobel Prize for this work. And that goes back to 1965. And there's a link to the actual article. So it says exactly how to do it. If you're, a rational household, how you should be valuing these benefits. And it's in large part an arbitrage argument that connects to how you would value a inflation index bond if you were a single person. Just to make it very simple, if you were single and had no bequest motive, it becomes quite clear that a Social Security benefit stream and an inflation index bond are essentially the same security, and they should be valued the same way. And that involves not actuarial discounting, but simple or straight discounting. So let me just go through these bullet points. We have the seminal paper by Yari. He said, don't do actuarial discounting if you're a household, or if you're doing planning for a household, like you folks are going to be doing and are doing. You don't want to treat households as if they were insurance companies and have many lives, many ages at which they may die. They're only going to die once, and it's not going to be at their life expectancy. So don't focus on their life expectancy when you talk to them about Social Security, because their life expectancy is not relevant. They're not going to die on time. And the big risk here is not dying young and having not taken your Social Security benefits. You might say, well, if I die young, let's say I die at 67, I'm waiting until 70 to take my Social Security benefits, and I could have taken my benefits at 62. So I'm going to die at 67, and then I'm going to be kicking myself for not having taken my Social Security benefits at 62. But if you think about it, when you're dead, you're immediately going to be transported to heaven, and heaven is not a place where anybody's kicking themselves. Everybody's very happy, and they're not worried about money. And they can, in heaven, you can presumably get as much money as you want in probably any currency you want, including gold coins. So I'm being facetious here, hopefully not too disrespectful of anybody's religion, but the point is that we really don't need money in the state where we're dead. Where we need money is in the states where we're alive, and the situations where we're alive. And of particular concern is if we live to our maximum age of life or close to it, that's when we're really going to need money, because we'll have had all these years that we had to pay for ourselves. So financially speaking, living is the big risk. Dying is the great escape, financially speaking. Whereas in terms of our own health, clearly, and our own psychology, dying is the big risk and living is the great joy, because nobody wants to die. We all like to live as long as possible, at least in a healthy state. So our planning horizon, according to Yari's paper, which is accepted by every economist across the planet who has had some decent training on the topic, is your maximum age of life, not your expected age of life. That's the proper planning horizon, and that's the planning horizon that our software is adopting. And we also have the implication that you don't want to take those benefits coming in the future and multiply by the probability that you're going to be surviving to get them. That's actuarial analysis, and that's not relevant here. It's just taking the benefits as they will be coming through time and just discounting them at the prevailing time path of real returns. That's the proper discounting. And so that's our framework. And let me now go to the issue of providing expert Social Security and planning advice. We've been doing this since 1993 when we founded our company, Economic Security Planning, Inc. And we have these two key programs. One is called Maximize My Social Security, which is a standalone Social Security optimization program. It's maximizing your client's lifetime benefits. And then we have another tool, which is Maxify Planner. And that tool does full financial planning, including Social Security optimization. So it includes the code for Social Security optimization. That's the exact same code base is being used as the Maximize My Social Security tool. It's being sent to the same web server. Both programs are going to the same place to get make those calculations. Now, let me illustrate the importance of expert advice with five, let's see, we've got 6 case studies here. And I'll just take you through each one. The first, so I'm going to flip over to the program, and hang on one second. So let me start with this couple. And okay, so we have a case of Jack and Jill, and they're born in 1958. Jack's a bit older, a couple months older, and we've entered. This is a client. I can just show you the. I should have pointed out for people that haven't used our program before that as you're entering clients, you get a big client list, and the most recent clients are showing up here on the right. And then you just click on. If you wanted to add a new client, you would just click on Add Client, and you would put in here Tom Jones, and you'd be asked questions, a series of questions in a wizard format, one question after the next. This works just like TurboTax. It could not be simpler. Are you married? What's your marital status? Married partner? Well, you're married. Do you have any kids under 19 or any disabled children? Let's say no. And now we're going to collect some more information. So about the health, adults in the household, and about their earnings histories. So that's how the program works bit by bit. It walks you through the inputs and then asks you to run a report. So I'm going to look at a case I've already set up, and I'm just going to show you the data that we've set up here. And so you see that the default assumption for the maximum age of life of this client, Tony, is hang on one second. I want to make, I think I went to the wrong case. It's supposed to be case 1. It's not Tony, it's Jack. So Jack, Jack was born in 58. So he's turning 62 this year, and he's going to reach his full retirement age in June of 2025, and he'll reach 70 in October of 2028. That's when he'll be 70. So those are the key ages. And right up here, you see his maximum age of life is 100. That's the default, but you can set it to be a higher number or a lower number, depending on what you feel is appropriate, and in conversations with your client. Now, Jack's going to be has an earnings history which I've entered here, and you can see he's working through age 61. He's not going to he's retiring this year, and he's going to start taking his Social Security at 62. That's his default age of collecting. That's what he'd like to do. We have Jill here, and she's also going to be collecting early when she turns 63. So just to go back, Jack was going to collect his benefits at 62, and now we have to. So we have this input for both of them. We have Jill's earnings history, and you can see she retired earning about $47,000. It grew through time. And just to go back to Jack, he ended up earning a little bit more, much more actually. So he retired having earned over $100,000. And then when we click on reports, we're going to run the standard report. And the standard report, yeah, this is the place where you have these reference dates, but here's where you can specify what you're actually going to do. And Jack's going to take his benefits on January 1st of the coming year, and Jill's going to do the same thing. And then when we run the standard report, we're going to be able to compare what Jack and Jill have in mind doing, their plan, their what-if plan, with what strategy for collecting benefits will maximize their lifetime benefits. And that's quite a different strategy, as you'll see. And then the question is, how much money is on the table here? What's at stake if they do it to maximize their lifetime benefits versus just kind of taking the money and running, which is often what Social Security tells you to do. And here you see a very big discrepancy between the maximized plan and their proposed collection plan. There's over $500,000 at stake here, which is a huge sum. And if we were running this in the Maxify tool, we would see precisely how much that would raise their lifetime spending, not just their lifetime benefits, but their lifetime after-tax discretionary spending, and how much that would raise their living standard per household member. And surely for this middle-class couple, it would make an enormous difference to their living standard to be getting this much money. So what the program is saying is that in a perfectly safe way, you can make for this couple that's doing what most people that retire at 62 do, which is take their benefits immediately. You can make almost $600,000 for this client, and then that client is going to be your customer for life, no matter whether the stock market goes up or down, or whether they think you lost some money for them on the market or not. The fact that you made them $600,000 out of the block by showing them a better way to take Social Security, which involves absolutely no risk, is going to stick with them for a long time. They're going to be coming back and also recommending you. When I say no risk, well, I am thinking about the insolvency of the system and the fact that benefits might be cut, especially for a high-income household, but they're going to be cut as well under if they take their benefits right away under either scenario, and waiting won't provide as big an advantage. But even if there's a 20% benefit cut across the board for all beneficiaries starting, let's say, in 2030, it's still going to behoove them to have waited to take benefits at 70 rather than to take them at 62. And you can run that scenario in our program. There's when you are putting in your inputs, you can specify cuts in Social Security benefits starting in particular years and run the program with and without those cuts and see what difference it makes. Now, there are lots of reports here. This is just summarizing what the client is thinking about doing and what the maximization solution is exactly. And then we have a crossover point where the maximized time path of benefits for the household exceeds the benefits under the client's what if or baseline plan. And then we have details about the particular benefits for the total household and what they would be if you maximize the benefits versus if you just followed what they were proposing to do. And here's a comparison side by side of the two sets of benefits for each person and the total. And you can see here that under their plan, they get a lot of benefits for 8 years, but then that stays at this $38,000 number. Whereas if they wait for 8 years getting nothing, they're going to be getting $67,000 a year. And if you look at the present value, the value in the present of this higher stream right out through the maximum age of life, it's much, much higher, almost $600,000 higher. Now you might say, well, look, you economists must be screwed up here. These people are not going to make it to 100. There's the probability that they're actually going to make it all the way to 100 is very small. So why are you valuing the benefits out to age 100? Well, the way economics looks at longevity risk is it says you don't truncate, you don't shorten the length of time over which people should plan. They have to plan to live to 100 for the simple reason that they might. But what you do is maximize the resources, but then explain to the client that because the probability of not making it that long is significant, they might want to take a risk if they're not super risk averse in spending more when they're young and planning on spending less when they're old. And in our Maxify planner program, you have the opportunity as a planner to specify a pattern of spending for the client that involves, for example, maybe their spending dropping 0.5% every year between 75 and 100. And so in other words, you can set the profile of their living standard, and the program will figure out how to match that profile, but also figure out the level of the spending internally and move away from having the client guess at their post-retirement spending or setting a post-retirement spending target. Frankly, my spending target for post-retirement spending is $1 billion a day, which is clearly infeasible. I can't afford it. So setting a target with no relationship to what's affordable just doesn't make any sense. And our program doesn't ask people to set targets. We figure out the targets for them such that their living standard is smooth based on a pattern that they want to follow. So it's not that economics ignores longevity risk, quite the contrary. It says, let's figure out how to deal with longevity risk the right way. The right way is not to assume for sure somebody's going to die on their life exactly at their life expectancy, but rather the right way to deal with this is to plan for them to live to the maximum age of life, but also plan for them to spend their assets, resources more at a higher pace when they're younger and take a risk that they will live to an old age. But if the consequence of that is that they'll have to experience a lower living standard. But anyway, that's exactly what the YARI study shows, that this is how to handle longevity risk. So we have these a variety of different charts for Jack and Jill, and you can just flip between them and look at the household details and look at the optimal filing dates. So it's a very simple tool, and but it can handle a lot of different types of clients. So let me go back here to the client list and look at another client. Now, this client, Tony and Cleo, okay, so they're turning, again, 62 in this year, and they have the same basic inputs, and they have, well, in this case, Tony had a very high earnings history, so he did really well. And Cleo has, he's got, let's think about Cleo's earnings record. The let's look at that. So she also did extremely well. So these are two very high income earners. And so what's special about them? They both filed in, they've told the program that they both filed it at age 62. So unlike the prior case, these people have already made a decision. They're coming to you at age 62, but they've already filed and they don't want to change that decision. I mean, they still have a year from the date they filed to pay back the benefits that they received and start over from scratch. But they've decided to take benefits. Maybe they're short on cash for some whatever reason. They want to get benefits, but is this the optimal thing to do, just to stick with what they've got and get this relatively low benefit, this highly reduced benefit, right through the end of their days? Well, let's just run the report and let's see what happens. If we can make them some more money, well, we were able to make them over $250,000, even though they've already made a decision to take the benefit at 62. And you say, well, look, you know, you made that decision. If you don't want to change it, fine. If you don't want to try and pay back your money, maybe they could possibly be 63. I could have set it up as 63, in which case it would be too late to withdraw their benefit and start over. So what's involved here? Why is the program saying that we can make them over $250,000? Well, the answer is that the program is recommending that for retirement age, they suspend their benefit and start collecting delayed retirement credits. So between 66 and 70, they'll collect delayed retirement credits, and their benefit at 70 will be over 30% higher than it was when they stopped it, all adjusted for inflation. So this is the plan, and of course you see, you know, here's the story in the blue curve of the maximized plan. They take benefits till full retirement age, then they suspend, and then they start up again at a higher level, and this nets them over $250,000, over $250,000, $260,000. So that's case 2. Let me move to case 3. Case 3
Larry,
involved,
look, can I just interject very quickly that some people out there, some clients are under the misapprehension that the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015 made suspending no longer possible for everyone. That's not true. This is accurate. People can suspend still. It's just that the BBA 2015 removed some incentives to do so, but it's definitely still possible to suspend.
yeah, that's very important. John O'Connor's with our company, and he's our chief customer support person for Social Security. So many of you may have interacted with him already. So if you have any you know, issues with the software, questions about the software, you just put in a support ticket on the website and John will be right back to you. But John's importantly pointing out that the 2015 amendments to Social Security, just to reiterate what John just said, but maybe a little bit slower pace. A lot of people think that it eliminated suspending your benefits, but it eliminated what's called a file and suspend option that no longer exists. There's another option for people that were grandfathered that were born before January 1st, 1954, before January 1st, 1954. We're going to get to that option of providing a free spousal benefit for one of the spouses. And that was part of what file and suspend was all about, or most of what file and suspend was all about. But file and suspend per se is gone, but suspending benefits is still here. I mean, file and suspend as a strategy to get free spousal benefits is gone, but you can still file young early, as this couple has done. And this Tony and Cleo couple file young at 62 and then suspend at full retirement age, or they could have filed at 64 and suspend at full retirement age, or they could file. Another example is they filed at 65 and now they're 67, and they can suspend at 67. They can suspend at any age between full retirement age and 70 and collect delayed retirement credits each month for the remaining number of months between the age at which they suspend and when they reach the month in which they suspend and the month in which they reach age 70. But now this case is Walt and Skylar. They're born in 1953, so they are exactly the kind of household I was just referencing, people that were grandfathered under the 2015 amendments. So our software is dealing with people that were grandfathered and people that were not grandfathered. And there still are millions of people in their late 60s who can still work the system in some cases to collect a free spousal benefit for one of the spouses. So in this case, we have the couple. Let me just first of all show you their earnings history. It's a good middle class earnings history for Walt, and then for Skylar, a little bit not a very high earnings history, much lower earnings. So what should they do? Well, let's talk about what they plan to do. What they plan to do is take their Social Security benefits relatively early at age 70. No, actually, I take that back. They're not taking their benefits at early. They're taking their benefit at 70 because they're not aware of this grandfathering provision. So they just come to you and they say to you, gee, financial planner, I know that from going on the web that waiting till 70 is going to maximize my benefits. So therefore, I'm just going to wait till 70. Or at least I know that for most people, it's going to maximize my benefits. And I think on most people, or we're most people, we're just going to wait. And we just came in here to confirm that that's the case. It's got to be the case because our neighbors and siblings told us that's what we should do. So let's run the standard report and see if that's what they should do. And you'll see in a second that it's not what they should do. What they should do is something that will give them $57,000 more dollars with absolutely no risk, because what they should do is have one of the two spouses file for a retirement benefit right away. That's Skylar. She's the low earner. And Walt can collect a spousal benefit between 67 and 70 because they're the same age. So when Skylar files for her retirement benefit, that then allows Walt to file for his spousal benefit, and just for his spousal benefit, on a restricted basis. So he's going to be filing just for, he could file for his retirement benefit, but the optimal thing for him to do is file a restricted application just for his spousal benefit. And then Walt is going to wait till 70. What is Skylar going to do at 70? Well, she's going to actually file for a spousal benefit. So she'll get her retirement benefit plus what's called a excess spousal benefit. And all in all, in total, they're going to make $57,000 more dollars. And you can see that the maximized benefits, well, you can't quite see the differential here as clearly because the lines are rather thick, but there are higher benefits under the maximized. Let's just go down here and compare the maximized with the what if plan. You can see that with the maximized plan, they're getting, oh yeah, sorry, I misread the chart. Under the maximized plan, they're getting these extra benefits right here. They're getting a somewhat higher set of benefits here. Well, actually, I think they're getting the same benefit because we're giving Skylar the same benefit in the what if case. But it's really down here that they're going to get more benefits because Tony is, Walt in this case, Walt is collecting the spousal benefit for the 3 years, which is not trivial. And turns out it's, after the first year, when we're dealing with a full year of benefits, he's collecting $18,000 in additional benefits. He's collecting $6,000 in additional benefits for this period. And Skylar, I guess we're also getting, John, are they also getting, they're getting additional spousal benefits under this strategy compared to the base case, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you scroll, let's see.
Yeah, they're getting both. Yeah, that's what I had it right to begin with. They're getting both a higher spousal benefit because I don't think we had them collecting spousal benefits in the base case. So now they're collecting, we scroll down here and compare the, I'm going to just scroll down here and compare the two. Yeah, it's, I guess it's actually coming in the earlier years, the difference in benefits after, so I had it right to begin with. The higher benefits are coming in earlier on for, they're getting, here's what's going on. In the maximized case, Walt's getting about $6K in spouse benefits, and Skylar's also going to get a retirement benefit, and the two together add up. This is the retirement benefit to Skylar. This is the maximized benefit to Walt. This is the total extra benefit, and the what if case had them not collecting anything until 70. That's why it's 0 right up through 70, and then it becomes the same. So they were giving up two types of benefits earlier on, which is Skylar could have been taking her retirement benefit. In the end, she's going to be collecting a retirement plus an excess spousal benefit, and that's just going to be equal to her total spousal benefit. So she's never actually going to collect her retirement benefit after age 70. She's just going to collect a spousal benefit. So she was just giving up her retirement benefit for nothing, and now she's going to collect it, and Walt's going to collect his spousal benefit, and the two together is a lot of money. It's $56,000 during this time period. So anyway, so that's that case. So it's showing that the software is handling perfectly accurately how we deal with people who are grandfathered under the old law. The next couple cases I'm going to take you through really quickly because I want to open things up to question and answer. So here's a case, case 4, where we have Sunny and Cher. And Cher is divorced from Sunny, so Sunny's the divorced spouse. Cher was born in 1953, and Sunny was born in 1952. And Sunny's the higher earner. And Cher did know to take a restricted application for just spousal benefits at her FRA, at her full retirement age. She did that. But in her WIDF strategy, she's going to try and take her retirement benefit, wants to take her retirement benefit earlier than she should. And the program shows that. So I'm going to just run the standard report. And by the way, I want to point out that there are other reports here where you can compare alternative plans side by side and look at results for alternative maximum ages of life and compare those side by side. So I'm not going to get into those today, but we have these additional reports that you can run. So let's just see what we can do for share of Sunny and Cher. And let's see if this is going to make them any money. Well, hey, we made Cher $80,000 because she got straight taking the restricted, filing a restricted application for just the spousal benefit when she hit full retirement age, but she didn't get straight the value of waiting all the way out till age 70 to collect all the delayed retirement credits. And they make a big difference. They make an $80,000 difference for her. So the details of this you can go through if you're running a case like this. Now let me run case 5, and then we'll do case 6, and then we'll start taking questions and give some answers. So case 5 here is involves Wilma. She's a widow. She was born in 1958, so she's currently around 61, and her late husband Fred was born in 1952, and he took his Social Security benefit before full retirement age. Now, unbeknownst to most people, there's a special widow's benefit that's calculated. It's called the Riblim formula that's being calculated if you take if the person who died took their Social Security benefits, but they took them early, then this Riblim formula kicks in. And the Riblim formula has the feature that you don't necessarily want to wait till full retirement age to take your widow's benefit. It may be better to take your widow's benefit sooner than full retirement age. So her strategy, Wilma's strategy, has her filing now and taking her widow's benefit. So she's going to file now for her retirement benefit, take her widow's benefit at full retirement age. So let me just say that again. Her plan is to take her retirement benefit now and to take her higher widow's benefit at full retirement age when she knows incorrectly that it's going to be at its maximal value, because if you look at the Social Security website, it suggests that if you take your widow's benefit at full retirement age, it will be maximized, it won't be reduced. But that's not taking into account that particular formula for the widow's benefit doesn't apply in the case where the decedent took their retirement benefit before full retirement age. So let's see if we can make some money for Wilma and make her a lifetime client of yours. So this is what she's going to do, what I said, take her retirement benefit right away and then wait till full retirement age to take her widow's benefit. But if we do it the way the software says to do it, we can make her almost $46,000, which is a big number for Wilma. And how do we get this to happen? Well, she takes her retirement benefit actually at 70, and she takes her survivor benefit at 62. So that's very different. Wilma had it in mind to take her retirement benefit first and her widow's benefit second, because she was looking at or thinking about the wrong widow's benefit formula. She had things mixed up, and it turns out that the better thing for her to do was to take her widow's benefit right away, actually, and to take her retirement benefit at 70 when it starts at its maximum value. So you really can't figure this out without expert software. This is these kinds of calculations may involve running 20 or 30,000 different scenarios for particularly, what particular date to take which particular benefit, and look at all the combinations. And that's what our software is doing under the hood, looking at everything that they could possibly do. Now let me go to case 6. So case 6 involves James and Jen. James was born in 1956, and Jen was born in 63. So she's younger. And Jen has no covered earnings since she's been caring for a disabled adult child named Jimmy. And the child is mentioned right here. He's 40 years old now. And let's just see what the maximized strategy is in their case. I'm just going to run that case and let you see what it is. They had in mind waiting till 62 to take their benefits, and weren't aware of disabled child benefits or of child and care spousal benefits. So let's run the maximization and see what the program recommends, and see if we can make some money for them. Well, we can make some money. It's not a huge amount, but it's still $4,446. And what it involves is a 5-part strategy. James is going to wait until he is 67 to file for his retirement benefit, not wait till age 70. And then he's going to, on Jimmy's behalf, file for a disabled child benefit for Jimmy. Jen, in that same year, is going to file for a child and care spousal benefit. And then when Jen reaches age 83 and her older husband, James, has reached his maximum age of life, at that point, she's going to file for a widow's benefit. Of course, if he dies before that, she would run the program again with a new circumstance that she'd run it as a widow and see what's the best thing to do. But assuming he makes it to his maximum age of life, she would collect her widow's benefit at age 83. And Jimmy would collect a child survivor benefit, which is higher than the disabled child benefit, also starting in the year that James hits age 100 and passes away. So altogether, that adds an extra $4,446. So it's money sitting there on the sidewalk, free to be taken by following the strategy. So let me now stop here and see what questions you have, and we'll go for as long as most people are still on the line. So Alex, you want to take it away and fire off some questions?